Time for another board game review, and this time we have the game Ready, Set, Bet. This was sent to me by AEG, and it's designed by John D. Clare. You and your friends head to the races for a day cheering, jeering, and betting on your favorite horses. Place your bets in real time as the dice move the horses across the track. Do you bet early for the best odds, or wait and see how the race is shaping up? The player with the most money after 4 races wins. Let me show you how to play. So in Ready, Set, Bet, you're trying to make bets on horse races, and after 4 rounds have the most money. Now, there are 2 ways you can run the game. You can have somebody use dice and be the house, and they can run it with dice. I'll show you that. There is also a really nice app I will also show you. You can just get it for iPhone or iPad or any phone, and it'll run the races for you. But yeah, either way is totally valid. Let me show you just how it works if you're running it on your own. There are also ways for the player acting as the house to also bet. I'm not going to go into all that. There are some different variations, but here's basically how it works if you don't use the app. The house rolls the dice, and whatever gets rolled moves forward. So in this case, 6, 5, so on and so forth. It's encouraged for the house to speak quickly, but announce clearly as well, and move the horses at a fast pace. Now, bonus moves happen if the same number is rolled twice in a row. So, let's say I rolled another 5. Then this horse would move 2 extra spaces after its movement. Depending on the horse, there are different bonus movements. The rarer horses on the end move 3. Now, for the 2 to 3 horses, this triggers if you roll a 2 and or a 3, because it's harder to do. Now, if a roll is triggered a 3rd time, the same roll, you don't do a bonus move. You don't do it again and again and again. However, if I, let's say, rolled like an 8, an 8, an 8, an 8, those last 2 rolls would be a new separate bonus move, because it basically was an 8, bonus move, then I roll an 8, no effect, but roll another 8, another bonus move, like that. It's encouraged for the house player to call out, interesting commentary like, oh, this one's leading or this one's pulling away. Also to shout snake eyes for rolls of 2 and box cards for rolls of 12, because certain VIP cards, which we'll get into later, might trigger. Now, they should also keep the audience aware of how close the horses are to this no bet line. Once they cross the red line, or once the 3rd horse crosses the red line, no more bets are allowed. Once a horse reaches the 15th line across the finish line, the game ends immediately. Then no more bet tokens are allowed to be placed on the board. So that's how it goes for if you're doing it yourself. You just roll dice, call them out, move the horses yourself. Now let me show you what it looks like if you use the app. So I actually think the app is great, and I would encourage it if you have an app, or a way to use an app. You can just click randomize game.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to Ready, Set, Bet.
And just press play.
There they go. 3. The number 5 stallion coming out of the gate early. The number 5 stallion wastes no time.
Bonus move.
Back-to-back bonus to take the lead. The 8 horse coming out of the gate early. 6.
So you get the idea. Basically, it just automates it for you, which I actually think is really convenient and makes it so that there's less pressure on a house player. You can just, use the app. It's totally up to however you wanna do it, basically. So while the horses are moving, players can place bets on the table. So everyone has different tokens, numbered 2, 3, 3, 4, and 5. In real time, as long as the no more bets thing hasn't been called out, or the game race hasn't finished, it's real time, just placing bet tokens onto any open bet spot. There's no turn order, first come, first serve. You can do them quickly, you can do them slowly, it's however you'd like. So I could be like, all right, I'm gonna put my 4 on this one, and I'm gonna put this here, so on and so forth. If somebody places a token on a spot, no one else can put a token there. Then once the race is done, you gain or lose money based on the bets. So there's winning, placing, and showing, as you can see by the 3 columns. If you were correct on your bet, you get money equal to the value of the bet token multiplied by the number printed in front of the X. So let's say, for example, the 7 horse did win. I would get $12 for that bet. Now, if you lose a bet because it was wrong, if there's a red circle on that space, like here, you would lose that much money. Some of the spaces you'll notice have no red circle, which means there's no penalty if you get them wrong. So let's go through the difference of what winning, placing, and showing means. Winning is if the horse gets first place. There are 3 different payouts for each horse in that regard. Placing is if a horse finishes in one of the top 2. And showing is if a horse finishes in one of the top 3. There are 2 show bet spots for each horse, each with differing payouts and losses. So basically, the horse that finishes in first place is considered to win all win, place, or show because it basically did all of them and would pay out all of them. Second place would do place and show. You can use these arrow tokens to help you remember which horses won what. The game also, when the race is done, tells you very clearly who won, who placed, and who showed. There are some special color bets on the top here. For example, if a blue horse wins, that's 5 times. Orange horse, red horse. If the 7th horse finishes 5th or worse, that's also its own bet spot. Also, for each race, there are different prop bet cards that are on the top here. Let me show you. So they'll all have different types of bets that you can make. So for example, this one, the 11-12 horse has to place higher than the 9 horse. It's a 3-time bet. Or the 6 horse has to be better than the 9 and the 5 horse. So every round there's some very specific bets you can make with the prop bets. And down at the bottom here, there are exotic finished bets. So basically each round, you're gonna have an additional one of these. I'll show you what they look like because I don't have a lot of room on this table here. This is blowout. The second place horse loses by more than 5 spaces. If you bid here and get it right, you get 4 times your bid. Otherwise, it's -2. Another example. By a nose. The second place horse loses by exactly 1 space. That's a 5 times bid or bet if you get that right. Each round, more of these cards will be drawn, so you have more choices. And these are unique in that they actually have 3 spots, although a single player cannot put more than one of their tokens on this card. But these have a little more wiggle room. Each round after a race, you replace the prop bet cards up there, reveal an additional exotic finish card, and then players start to get VIP cards. These special VIP cards give you little powers. For example, this one gives you a special bonus black token, which is another extra 4. This one is Snake Eyes and Box cards. You just get $1 every single time a 2 or 12 is rolled. Or a card like a piggyback bet. Once per race, you may place your 3 bet token on a spot with one opponent's bet token. You can take the same spot as somebody. So these are all very neat little powers. And that's pretty much it. You make bets during the race on very specific types of bet types. Use your special powers and try to get the most money. There are variants where the house can bet if they are, manipulating the horses. And other different variants. But I honestly recommend just using the app. It's honestly a really fun automated app that runs it all smoothly for you. But that's pretty much it. Make bets, make money.
So this was an absolute blast to play, and it's one where I highly recommend using the free app. Sure, you can have somebody run the horses, and like I mentioned, they even have a way where you can still have them participate in the betting. It's a little convoluted, but the app does it great. And with the real-time excitement of just letting the app run and watching the race happen, you can all focus more on the betting. It's a beautifully simple concept. You're just staring down the horses and your opponents, seeing which spots you can take first. It really does capture the thrills of betting on a real-time race. The different types of bets that appear round and round can be a little overwhelming for some players. But worst case scenario, you can just focus on different parts of the board. You don't need to look at all of it. The abilities and perks you unlock with the VIP cards are really fun. I think the only downside to this game, and not necessarily a downside for me, is due to its frantic nature, it can be a little bit tricky to remember to do certain abilities. Like, for example, every time a horse moves, you put money on it. Sometimes there's so much going on, it can be a little stressful. I don't mind it, but it might be a problem for some players if they don't like that kind of overwhelming, frantic experience. So if you don't like that type of real-time pressure, you might want to steer away from this game. But if you have a group of friends who like that kind of thing, enjoy the thrill of gambling and real-time betting and watching the horses go and rooting for horses, this is very simple, but a very entertaining game to bring to the table.